Hey there, bestie. I'm Lori Me, your What to Read Next podcast host. Join me as we dive into exciting new reads that'll have you reaching for your TBR pile in no time. From urban mysteries to spicy romances, we'll explore it all and help you find your next favorite book. So grab a cup of tea, cozy it up, and let's discover some amazing reads together. Hi, Jen. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. It's getting hot. I'm in Arizona, so it's getting a little hot out here. But
yeah,
otherwise, okay.
I live in Florida, so I feel like summer is just not a good time to go visit us. It's just not. It doesn't. I did go to Arizona. I went to Phoenix around this time of the year about 5 years ago, and I was just in the air conditioning. They had us had lunch outside, and I was just dying. Yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, but like, no.
Yeah,
Why are we doing this? It's like 100 degrees, like the ice is melting.
Yeah, this is where we do our reading, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reading like, oh, there's other people. It's winter and they've got blizzards. It's like we're in the read. This is our time.
This is our
read
time. Yeah, I was like,
Yes.
no. I tell you, like right now, Florida is just, it's about to go down. It's just gonna be like hot and humid and just disgusting. You just melt.
You guys have hurricanes. I mean, at the end of the summer, the hurricanes.
We do get hurricanes too. Yeah. Not looking forward to that, you know. But I grew up in Puerto Rico, so I'm used to hurricanes. I've pretty had experienced them most of my life, except the 20 years I live up north. But now that I'm in this warm weather, I'm like, yeah, it's just part of it. It's part of the course.
I hear that.
It is what it is. Let's talk about love at first book. What is the elevator pitch?
It's weird. It's a continuity. So the elevator pitch was really between me and my editor, where I had written summer reading and I'd written a side character, and I just felt like she deserved her own story because she was such a really good best friend, but she clearly, her life was stuck. And I feel like everybody has a point in their life where you're just stuck. And I was like, so I said to my editor, my pitch is, can we get her unstuck? Because I think she could go to Ireland and really be happy. And my editor was like, okay. That was my pitch. We're going to Ireland, basically.
I love this. As someone who has been stuck in different places, and it's just like, in the end, I identify with your main character, like the family trauma, the family issues, and not feeling like you're in the right place, right time, and not doing this. It's like sometimes we talk about geographical cure, like it's just not going to fix the problems because you're going to carry them with you. But sometimes it creates forward movement of just like changing the whole scenery.
Yes.
Even though it's really uncomfortable and trying out and getting outside of the comfort zone, doing something that's just completely foreign to what you're supposed to be doing or you think you should be doing, and then allowing yourself just to coexist and even thrive in it, which is where we see this character happen. It's like she flourishes in ways that she didn't expect it to be possible.
Exactly. No, it was fun. And, fish out of water and taking a risk, all the things. Because I think when you are stuck, you need something big because it's so easy to furnish a rut, you know? And I think so for her, it was the opportunity to work with the author who had meant everything to her. So it's like you need something really like lottery winning big to get you to, okay, so it was kind of fun. And it was fun because it's like I got to be, because I am an author and I've written a lot of books, and it was just like, I have not had writer's block yet. But to kind of go through like and how hard writing is, and just kind of be able to like appreciate that job from another character's perspective. It's hard to explain, but it was like, I mean, it's kind of a book lover's dream. You have a librarian, a bookseller, and an author, and I got to try on the hat of each one of them. And it was just like, yeah.
So, because you're a former librarian, so you're an author, and you may have like connected with booksellers. So you have
Right.
which one would you, if you have a magic wand and $1 million or billions of dollars, because $1 million is not enough, billions of
No.
dollars,
Really.
and you can actually pick one profession that you're just gonna do it for the sake of doing because you have enough time, you know, all your necessities. Which one would you go for in that alternate universe?
Oh. Yeah, it's weird because I think because I've done the librarian thing,
Yeah,
and I've been pretty much a full-time writer for about 15 years, and I love it, and I
yeah,
I would always write, like, even if I went back to the library, I'd write. If I became a bookseller, I'd write. But the one that I haven't done is be a bookseller, and it's such an interesting time. Like, the rest of us walk into bookstores, and I'm always like, "Wow, I owned it. I would do there." I'm probably totally wrong, but I'm just kind of like, I think I would love to try being a bookseller. I think that would be
so
awesome. I mean, they're
and
probably all going, "Oh my God, what are you thinking?"
okay, and then we're a bookseller, and we got obviously $1 billion. We got the reserves Amazon, and we can do whatever kind of bookstore we want to have. And obviously, audience comes in, and there's no problem of shutting it down. What kind of bookstore would you create? Like,
Oh,
can you
yeah.
be so niche that's just like one genre only, or can it just be like everything you want?
Yeah, I think interestingly enough, it's funny because, oh man, I'm probably gonna get burned at the stake for this. And I think it's changing, so I'm not really thinking ahead. But it's like things I would want. I'll start with the things I would want. I would like to have cats in my books.
Yes,
But I'd also like to have dog day because I have both, and I love my
yeah,
critters. We get a bird day, but you gotta watch where they fly. But I would love to have animals in it. I would love to have a cafe, like a really good one,
mhm,
coffee, sweets, cupcakes, naturally.
yeah,
And then I would like to see more indie published people on the shelf
yeah,
because I think there's a weird, publishing's in a really weird time right now. It's like a lot of traditional authors are pivoting to indie, being able to reduce print runs, as a published indie. It's like if you could find a space to sell those would be super cool. So I don't know. I mean, I just
yeah.
feel like you could do a lot of amazing, especially if money's no object.
Money's nothing. You got Amazon reserves. Like you got the
Thank you
reserve.
so much. It's nothing. I love publishing. I love all the people in it. And
Yeah.
but I'm seeing more and more indie authors coming up. And, what if you could even attach to like a writer's program to the bookstore?
Yeah.
So, it's like people come in and be taught how to write their, you know, pie in the sky.
Right in the sky. I love sometimes dreaming of those ideas and like maybe somebody's listening and be like, oh my gosh, I got the $1 million reserves. I can do this myself. Let the idea flow.
You're
Like,
right.
you know.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that
I
would
just
be
feel like, we all spend so much time on computers and screens. And I think just having like a safe space to go to that's just, got a cat and a cup of tea and all the books you want to read. And then maybe you could take a writing class.
yeah. Or just pursue for the sake of pursuing. Just
Yeah.
engage the creative hobby of just writing, just for just
Yeah, just
imagination.
because.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without
Right.
any attachment to outcome. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like in some ways I think later on in life I've learned to not attach the outcome and it's harder, but it's so much more my life is so much better
Um,
when I don't have to think about it. It's harder because my anxiety wants to attach it, but the reality
yes.
is that if I don't attach the outcome, if I just pursue for the sake of pursuing and everything's all my needs are gonna be met, I actually have a better quality of my life, and it
Oh, yeah. And I
gets
think
me
that
yeah,
whenever you're pursuing because you're not attached to the outcome,
yeah,
it's more authentic.
yeah,
Maybe, it's like, we have to do so much social media now. And it's a lot of authors hate it because it's one more task. So it's not like you
yeah,
can just immerse yourself in the book. Then you have to think about, well, I have to do 5 posts today, 2 on Instagram, 2 on Facebook, 1 on, whatever. I can't even keep up.
yeah. Too
And
many.
it's on the one hand, it's a really nice way to reach your readers, but on the other hand, it's like one more chore. It's just like, "Ugh." And then you feel like, and then you can't help but like, did anybody like it? Like the worst is you put something up that you're like, oh, that's really clever.
Yeah.
Crickets. And you're just like, I'm an idiot.
No, I think it's a lot. I think we're in a society that's expects us to produce for the sake of producing and just going reach, 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 reach. And it's like it's exhausting and it's just like depletes the energy. And yeah, we're
Sure.
doom scrolling all day long. So it's like it feeds
Oh,
like
yeah.
these like our attention span is like 2 seconds long. I
Right now, it's like I'm the worst. It's like, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, it's getting bad. But, like, even
yeah,
writing, because I've been writing 15 years,
yeah.
and I used to be able to sit down, bang out 10 pages, and now it's like the minute it gets hard, I find my phone in my hand going,
Yeah. Well,
it's like
I'm actually learning how to watch TV. The simple act of watching a 45-minute show is like without a little screen on the side, it's something. And I don't understand.
Yes.
I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and that was the only thing we had.
Yeah, when I was little, you had to walk across the room and change the channel. You
Yeah,
had
it's
your
you don't
3
have remote
channels.
controls.
You were it. You are.
Like, you
Yeah,
have
it's just a lot. And then
yeah,
I'm kind of worried that, because like my mom is 81,
yeah,
God love her. And, so I've got her visiting, and then my sons are in their 20s, so they're visiting.
yeah.
And it's like, we're all hanging out, and like literally everybody's, and she's as bad as there. So I'm like, it's not even like you can say it's kids anymore. And then the whole thing is like, oh, did you see this? Did you see this? And it's like, no, because, whatever. But it just cracks me up. I'm like, there's really no, it's not like a young kid thing.
Yeah,
It's everybody, you
it's
know?
everybody. Yeah, it's everybody. I think it's just how we are. So, but let's talk about some cozy mysteries because as I was sharing at the beginning before we start recording, I actually by accident I was in a really massive reading slump. I was like, love is dead. I don't want to read more romance. I need something else. Give me some murder. And I was like, well, I have anxiety, so I don't have PTSD. So I can't get the murder too grisly and too gory because then I get
Right.
nightmares or like it triggers like PTSD.
I get
So
that.
accidentally, I knew about Cozy Mysteries because you came on the show about a year ago and other people have talked about Cozy Mysteries. And I was like, I think I'm gonna try Cozy Mystery. And I tried, I asked someone who was like, here's a guide, it's start, and your books were there. And I was like, okay. And I just went through basically every series starter because I was like, I try to read one in the middle of the series and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so cozy mysteries are basically kind of like it's amazing because there's like tons of books and there's a little bit of everything for everyone.
Mhm.
There's diversity, there's queer, there's like different occupations and different ideas and
Oh, yeah.
characters and cities and stuff like that. But they're overwhelming too because there's so many choices. And you're an author who has way too many choices for me.
Yes. Yes, yes, I agree. Yeah, cozies are awesome. They were, pretty much how I started. I wrote rom-coms in the early 2000s, a
Yeah.
couple for Harlequin, and then that didn't really work. And and then I pivoted into mysteries. And they said, can you write a cozy? I was like, sure. I didn't know what they were. I didn't realize, that there's a hook, and it's at the time, I think crafts were big and then food and then anything with books. And, so I kind of covered all those. But I think what I like about them is everything's kind of off the page. There is a murder, but it's off the page. So you don't have to be all gored up. But I also like them because it's usually a community, which is kind of a found family for your characters. And
Yeah.
you get really, really attached. And a lot of times, like, I have a cupcake bakery series, and I wrote the first one, Sprinkle with Murder. And it's set in my hometown in Scottsdale because there was, sprinkled up the street. So research. But so I wrote the first one, and I got all these comments being like, how can they possibly run a cupcake bakery if they're always like out and about? And I was like, oh, that's a good point. Like, you can't just flip the sign and get out of there. You have to actually be in the bakery. Like, oh, so we need to hire somebody. And I think it's the second book. Pretty sure it's the second book. I've written like 16, so it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the second book. So I had this old guy who was like 80 something, and he was just supposed to show up for that book. And, like 16 books later, this guy, Marty, who I'm really attached to, he's like 80 something in the book. They never really say, but he's in his 80s. And he's still there. He's like Janet Ivanovich's hamster, Rex. I think he's
Yeah.
still alive. I'm not even sure, but it's like that. I like the oldest hamster ever.
maybe it's just like these characters are like The Simpsons, like they don't age like with time.
Exactly. They're
Like
kind of
they just
frozen in time.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they're frozen in time and they just coexist in this world and stuff like that. So first things first, now that I think about it, you have 16 books in a series. How do you keep track of those characters or like murders or specific? Do you have like a organizational system or like
As a librarian, you would think I would. Right, I don't, and I wish I did, and I wish I'd gone back and done it, but I never did. I reach out to readers a lot, like, one of the characters in the cupcake book since I've got a cupcake book coming out, in a couple weeks, Fond and Fumble, so it's a whole football scene, which was just hilarious, but where was I going? Oh, yeah, so there's one character in there who has 7 older brothers, and at the time, I thought that was hilarious to write in, and then I realized I couldn't remember all the So I'll put up a post on, Facebook or Instagram. It's like, whoever can name the 7 brothers right now, I'll send you a signed book. Yeah.
I love this idea.
So they've helped me out a couple of times. I'll be like, what was the name of so and so's cat? I can't remember. And I can't find it because I can't remember.
Yeah.
So I rely on my readers a lot. So, and I
Yeah.
should have kept a Bible. Oh, but here's the thing. So when I sold the Cupcake Bakery Mysteries, I was like, yeah, it's a cupcake bakery. That's good for like 3 books. I mean, I can't. What am I going to do? Yeah, 16 books later, so wrong, so very wrong, and so grateful that I was so very wrong. But yeah, so I would have done it a Bible, like but I didn't. So
It is
turns
okay.
out,
I actually read The Sprinkle of Murder. I actually listened to it because it was a shorter book. So it was like a quick
yeah,
one. It was like great. And it was a great introduction. I was like, oh, I need to come back to the cupcakes because I used to back when I live in New York, this is the early mid 2000s and your Magnolia and Sprinkles and Billy's and stuff like that. I used to do a tour guide to NYU students, a cupcake crawl of going to different cupcake places. And so
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
I have an affinity for cupcakes. Like, I'm like, I have no problem with it. Like, just have
I think
this
you're giving me an idea for a book.
yeah, it's yes, like a
Going on
cupcake
a tour, a cake
cup
tour.
a
Yeah, I like
cupcake
it. I
crawl.
like it.
Like, yeah, like a bar crawl, same idea.
Yes, but with
You know,
cupcakes, so much better. So much better.
so much better. So I really like this, but talk to me about your other series that you have. Do you have a bookshop series or as a library?
Yeah, it's a library because librarian.
Yeah.
And that one is also that's about 15, 16 bucks. And the Christmas, I just had one come out in January, Fatal First Edition, which was set on a train, like the part of it's on a train. So
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
super fun. And then there's a Christmas one, a merry little murder plot that's gonna come out in October. So that series I'm hoping I'll write more in soon because it's I intentionally set up older heroine and hero,
Yeah.
not planning to have families, just happily married in their little village with the found family.
Yeah.
Because I thought that would give it longevity. Because if you have to have a baby and chase children, and you don't have time. And plus, you can't. My thing was always you can't put yourself at risk if you're an amateur sleuth if you have kids because
Yeah.
that's just bad parenting. I mean, if you're a cop, that's your job. I get it. You have
Yeah.
no choice. But I was always like the amateur sleuth with a baby. I'm like, that
It's
makes me
growing.
more uncomfortable. Like, so for me, I made the conscious choice with them that no kids. And then the other one, way back when Will and Kate got married, it was like the middle of the night. And I was watching the wedding, and Princess Beatrice, came out with it.
No.
Crazy, and I was just like, oh man, and I was very tired. But I was looking, through Twitter at the time, and everybody was just being so mean about that hat. And I was just like, God, who made that hat? And I thought, oh, I'd want to kill him. And then I was like, "Ooh." So I wrote to my editor the next morning, like, crazy idea. How about a London hat shop? And she was like, no. So then I did like 6 or 7, 8. I don't even know how many of those. And I don't know if I'll be able to go back to those because they're mass market is kind of
Yeah.
fall by the wayside, and a lot of the cozies are written in mass markets. So it might be that these go to only ebook or
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm just kind of like, well, wait and see because we're in
Wait.
crazy times.
Yeah. It's kind of like a weird time. I only read ebooks
Well,
and
it keeps they're cheaper and it keeps your library, man. Like you would drown in books if you bought
yeah,
every paper.
I got rid of my book collection due to past issues, and after that, I was like, never again. I need to. like curate, and I told the publishers, please forget my please forget my address, don't send me stuff. We're good. Just send me the ebook.
I'm out.
I'm out. Just send me the ebook. I'm fine with it. And I'm like a big library supporter. So I either get it from the library or like look for like requested stuff like that. So I found it it's actually much more easier to manage
Oh
than
yeah.
having
Yeah.
like this big book collection. I know like
I mean, I think it's nice when they make pretty editions of the books, like
yeah,
there's I loved Miller's Circe and Song of
yeah,
Achilles.
yeah,
And then when Barnes and Noble was like, we're doing a special edition, I was like, well, of
yes.
course I'm proud of it.
There's something to
It
it.
has to be like a rare, you know what I mean? Otherwise I don't. My husband has a book problem. That man
Yeah.
has like, God, like well over 2,000 books. He's the most well-read person I've ever met for music, and he's a musician. It's so funny. But he used to be a newspaper reporter, so he's a word guy. But I have none. I own no books. It's like they're either ebooks or, library books. And the thing is, I get a lot of readers who will say, I feel really bad. I didn't buy your book. I got it at the library. And it just drives me crazy because what people don't understand is there are more libraries in the United States than there are McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, that's fine. That library will buy 4 or 5 copies. It's okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's $1 billion industry. It's fine.
More expensive. The
Order
library
it.
it's more expensive to libraries. They charge libraries more expensive
They
books
do charge them more,
you know.
yes, because they know more people are going to read it. It's like,
Yeah.
we know what you're up to. But the
Yeah.
nice thing, the way I always look at it too, is I find authors at the library. Like, if I'm
Yeah.
not sure of you, I'll check your book out. But if I fall in love with it, then I'm more likely to buy it when it comes
Yeah.
out. Do you know what I mean? So then it's a great way to like vet people,
Yeah.
authors.
I'm like a
So,
huge library supporter. I find it's a great place,
right.
it's a low stake place to discover new genres, discover new authors, try
Mhm.
different things. It's low stake. Like if you don't like it, you don't feel bad. Like, oh my gosh, like I spent all this money on this. It's like, no, I rather spend like a flat fee to non-resident cards to libraries. One to help them with the circulation, like they have membership, at the same time give them a little bit of money. But the other part is like it allows me to right now doing this cozy mystery readathon is like, oh, I can try this book. I can try this book. I love going to
Right.
Libby and looking for librarians' recommendations of like, here's all these other books. And I'm like, oh, this one
Mhm.
looks good. This one looks good. And give them a try. And it has allowed me to read 20, 30 books that I normally wouldn't be able to afford. Like
Oh,
give a chance
absolutely.
to new authors to me that I wouldn't be like, okay, I don't want to feel like bad about it. Uh,
Exactly. No, exactly. Yeah. And when, the worst is when everybody's like, you have to read this book. And then you buy it and it stinks.
yeah. So no.
That's going to the library donation.
Donation. It's just gonna go to the library. It's gonna go to a free little library.
Exactly. Enjoy.
Enjoy somebody else's. My 1 star is somebody else's 5 stars.
Exactly. And that's so true. That's so true. Yeah. I'm always amazed that like even people like your dearest, dearest friend, you can have such an opposing opinion on a book. And it's so hilarious to me. It's like, and then you have to like reevaluate the whole relationship.
Yes. I have a lot of bookish friends because I've been in this industry for some time, but I know I'm gonna have to be discerning. Like there's only certain people who we have similar tastes, and then there's a bunch of people who are opposites. And I'm like, if you hate it, then I love it. If I hate it, do you love it? You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
it's
That's
just
a good
it's like
marker.
and I learned not to rate books for that reason because I'm like, I don't I it's so subjective, and I think it's like I can tell you how it sell the book, why I hate it, what may be my triggers may not be your triggers, and I'd rather just recommend you, like, here's
Mhm.
the picture what I think it is, make your own decision, be your own.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's good because it is true. It is very, and I think, for authors who get 1-star reviews and get really hurt about it, it's like, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
sometimes 1 star reviews, I think with romance, the 1 star reviews I hear like too much sex or too much this. I'm like, oh, that's a 5 star review for me.
Yeah. Wait, what was that?
Like, yeah, or there's like cheating, and I'm like, okay, I'll read that. I'll give it a
I'm
try.
kidding.
Like, it's like, I think sometimes we get so bogged down on the audience, and the reality is like the audience will find each other to find you find your audience, like you attract the right audience, like those
Right. Like attracts like, and
yeah,
yeah.
and those one-star reviews can actually sell you more books,
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
So, but thank you for sharing some cozies that I now get to try out. So I think I'm gonna do the library first, and then I'm gonna go to the hat shop just to take a trip to London.
Oh, thank you. I know that's pretty much why I wrote it. It was like, cool, London.
Yeah, take a trip to London. So yeah, Jen, tell us where you can find you online.
You can find me at just jenmckinlay.com. I just redesigned, well, I didn't do anything, but I got an actual professional to redesign the webpage. So it's so, she just did such a good job. I'm
Yeah.
so happy. So I highly recommend checking that out. And then literally all my books are there, all of them. So, and with buy links and whatever, any appearances I'm doing are on there, stuff like that. And then I'm on probably my favorite social media is Instagram, and it's just at McKinlay Jen. And that's where I am most. Like if you want to get in touch with me, that's where I have DMs. Facebook is just, I just kind of post to Instagram and then it doubles over to Facebook
Yeah.
because the reality is there's so many bots, and so many trolls. And it was just like, I can't manage that. That's too much. So I don't do much with that. I do have a private Facebook group,
Yeah.
called McKinley's Maid. And then my assistant runs it, and she is a house on fire. Like this girl, when she does it, she does a lot of giveaways, and they're massive. It's like 5 books, some home decor, bookmarks, pens, earrings. I mean, it's like a lot. Like I can't even imagine what the boxes come like. So she does a lot of giveaways, and the community's really nice. Like everybody is just sweet and kind. There's, obviously good behavior rules in it. And the reason we did a private group was because I couldn't do any giveaways on the regular Facebook because of the bots and the trolls. And it just, you get cloned and then they're asking people for their credit cards. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be the person that gets someone ripped off. Nope, not facilitating. So McKinley's Mavens, and I pop in there a lot. That one's good. And then I do a blog with the mystery writer friends, and it's called Jungle Red Writers. And we have guest authors, and we blog every single day. And then we have a Facebook group also with giveaways and fun stuff, and that's called Reds and Readers. So those are probably the places you can be next.
I love this. And I did get scammed on Facebook, so I don't mess with Facebook anymore.
Oh my God, it's a nightmare. Like if I could actually just leave, I would, but you can't have
you
the
can't.
group
It's
without
a Meta, another company that controls everything.
I know. It's like between Amazon, Meta,
Yeah, it's just
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. They're
Yeah.
exhausting me. I think we're all gonna die young because we're tired.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Jen, for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. You're always a pleasure to visit me.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Watch Read Next podcast. If you enjoy our bookish conversations and want more recommendations, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, head on over to the Watch Read Next blog for a list of books mentioned in today's show. Happy reading!